Why?
Why?
Why? Why?
Find your why.
Moving on to number 11. Number 11, can you read it for us? Do you have it?
Practice going first. Example, hi, I am Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben. Okay, so what does it mean to you, this point?
Practice going first. It just means that when you walk into the room, you just should start speaking. That's what I think. You should not come to the room and be like, okay, and wait for somebody else to start talking to you, because why would they? I always, whenever I walk in somewhere that maybe I don't know people very well, or I'm not sure about, how I should behave, I just seriously just start talking. You talk about, people say that you talk about the weather, that's some kind of small talk, and that's annoying that people do it, but I don't think it's annoying, actually. I think it's something that we should do because it starts the conversation. So it means that we're not standing there being closed down and waiting for somebody to approach us, because once we do that, we're not approachable. Nobody wants to approach you if you're standing there quiet.
Yeah, I also think it brings us back to the point we've covered on the last episode, that you shouldn't assume that people are going to talk to you. You should just assume that they want to talk to you. Therefore, you would be the one to talk first, because that just reassures you that you are going to have a conversation with somebody.
And then, talking first brings a lot of comfort, because imagine you're getting into the car, that you're going on a date with some guy. He picks you up, you sit on this front seat, and then what? Nobody talks.
Yes, you have to be able to talk about nothing in any situation.
That's one of my favorite skills that I have. Remember we had those, people coming over from overseas. I never knew anybody, and I kept talking to them for 45 minutes on the ride home.
Yeah, and it's just about nothing and everything.
It was the weather, it was the country, it was the flight, it was whatever they eat, or what's the differences? Are they cold? Are they warm? Are they comfortable? And then it turns into the whole conversation. And after that 45 minutes, let's say, you feel like you've known them for years,
Yes, and it immediately builds the connection that wouldn't have been there if there wasn't the small talk, right?
Yeah, but then from the other side, how uncomfortable would you be driving those people and not speaking to them at all?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I always admire those people who are able to have a conversation about anything, and then I wanted to learn the skills, right? That are required.
I have those skills now.
Yeah, they are super important. Also, I remember my friend told me when you are a student, first day at uni, he said it's really good to say something on the first lecture or anything. Just if a professor asks a question or anything,
remember you.
raise your hand and just say anything. Say something. It will help you. It will set the tone for the entire the time of
and it
of
also
this
helps
course or
to
whatever.
stand out. You're the guy who's spoken first. Yeah.
Yes,
or
it's the first impression that they're gonna have of you for the rest of the years. For example, at uni. So it's perfect. Also, this brings me to one episode of the Diary of the CEO, where this lady was talking about what makes people popular, right? Because there are always popular people, whether it's whether it's in a workplace, at school, at uni, wherever. There's always someone popular and someone that's not popular. And then she was like, "Do you can you guess what's one factor that all of the popular people have in common?" What do you guys think? What would you say? Because I've been oh,
maybe
really?
Courage, or being able to say something or something like that.
Okay, so courage. And you, what would you say? Yapping. Okay.
Talking a lot and being everywhere and being loud.
That's true. So she basically said that the most popular people are the people who like the most amount, the most amount of people, the biggest amount of people, right? Because if you aren't popular, I'm not saying being popular is good, a good way. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is, right? But the people who aren't popular or who have less friends, they usually don't like the people, right? If you want to be popular, if you want to be saying, oh, hi to everybody, let's say on the hallway, you have to like the biggest amount of people, and just kind of have a small talk with them, just kind of know them,
being able to also establish individual relationships with them, I remember Snoop Dogg said something like that. So you can come in a room and you have handshake with this guy, this guy, you have little things that connect you and it's true, you have to like the most amount of people.
Yeah, and if the Snoop Dogg didn't like the people, he wouldn't be popular, because people wouldn't like him as well.
That's true,
right?
I guess.
Yeah, it was actually interesting.
That's interesting
to learn.
Yeah, so it goes both ways, right? Definitely. So yeah,
What do you
practice.
think comes first? You being not liked or you not liking people?
You're not liking people, I
I
think.
think yeah.
You not liking people.
Yeah.
So
You
Because
have
then
to.
you kind of
so you
set the
think
tone
you
and
by
like the
not liking
energy.
people you set yourself up for being not liked?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
I would say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the attitude that comes with it
Mhm.
when you don't like people, you know?
Alright,
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. Actually,
Mhm.
this was very interesting for me
It
to
is,
learn.
yeah.
I also thought it was like the courage. And it turns out it's not about being the prettiest. It's not about being the loudest, like the most confident. It's just about having the most amount of connections with, like the like a big amount of people,
Mhm.
big group of people. That's super interesting. I've heard it and I've been thinking about it for
Yeah.
like some time. And
Well, it makes
that
sense.
makes sense. That
It
does
does
We
make
make
should
sense.
go out and make some friends.
We should actually. It's just the three of us,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
yes.
we know how to, I guess.
I guess, yeah, talk about the stuff all the time. Just walk the walk, talk the talk, innit?
Just
Like,
don't let them speak. Just
like-
don't let them speak.
But don't you have a lot of friends? Like, whenever connections, maybe not friends, because friends I don't have a lot, but connections when I think about it, like, I like a lot of people.
No, I
I
do
don't
have
like
a lot
spending
of.
time with them sometimes,
Mhm.
but I like them as a person.
Yeah.
Like, because I think there's a difference there,
Mhm.
for you liking a person and then actually wanting to, like,
Yeah, well, a connection doesn't equal friend.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like, yeah.
Plus, I guess, us doing this and talking to people and about people all the time and like throwing up to the internet, I guess. I guess we want to be popular in a way, so
In a way,
but
yeah, we do.
but I mean, I like people a lot. I like the stories and I like how different people think and have different perspectives. So yeah,
So yeah, so
Yeah.
you're good. You're good.
yeah,
You're gonna be
I'm
good.
getting there. I'm getting there though. Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Ataka? Do you like a lot of people? I feel like you're the kind of person that kind of doesn't like most of the people.
I don't admire a lot of people, and I do
Oh, yeah.
not want to spend much of my time with a lot of people. Like,
Me, I'm
I
rather
f-
curious about stories. My curiosity drives me. I'm
you know
curious.
what? Maybe at the beginning I am as well, and I do really genuinely like those people. Like, I think they're like nice people, and they have different, like, hobbies, whatever, different lives, different careers and stuff. But then I just sometimes I don't have many people that I like to be around, for
Oh,
longer
yeah.
amounts of
Oh, yeah.
time, because to talk to them over a coffee, or like to have a 10-minute conversation, or like to text them like, well, how are you doing, or whatever, that's a different thing, or like meet them somewhere by accident and talk to them for a second. Then yeah, I do like them. But then, yeah, but you could get the impression I don't like people, because when I'm sometimes like with, those people too long, and then I have big trouble with, not expressing my emotions on my face, even though I don't want to do it. And then, it may come off like that,
Mhm.
but I'm not annoyed at, it's not like I don't like them. I don't like the way they're behaving, or the way they're, like, speaking, or the manner of their tone, or like what they're saying. It's not about them really. It's usually about the situation that they annoy me in.
So actually, I would argue if you don't like how they behave or you don't like the way they speak, you don't like them.
No, because it's in a situation.
Okay, so just like situationally.
Yeah, let's say. Yeah, because it's
Okay.
not like I don't like Peter because of the manner of speaking that he has. Like, no, sometimes when Peter says stupid things, or Peter behaves a certain way, then I feel like I don't want to spend time with him. That's an
Okay.
example.
Can you give an example?
That's an
of-
example.
No examples.
What are you getting at? How are you trying to?
No, I just looked at you and you were a person sitting in front of me, so
For
Yeah,
that's
but
why.
example.
that is interesting.
That's why I took your
actually.
name. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard to have a lot of good friends. Let's be honest. It's hard. You can have as many connections as you want to have,
Yeah.
but with friends, it's like trickier.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree. Like, I don't have many people I like to spend my time with. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Now it's mostly you guys, so like, yeah. So, but now even less with you. So I don't know.
So no friends.
No friends. Friendship's over.
No more.
No
there
more.
will be no more.
Okay, so moving on to 11.
To 12.
12. 12. Yes, I have it. I have it. I have the work on there. So 11 is 12. Sorry, is practice yes and to encourage ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So you don't say yes, but, if you don't agree with somebody, I've read a book on it. You have to say yes and.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, you say that blue is the best color ever. I'm not gonna say yes, but like pink is better, for example. But I'm gonna say yes, and I think pink is almost as pretty as blue,
Mm-hmm.
or they're both pretty.
Yeah, I guess you don't want to contradict people's ideas, right? You don't want to go opposite. Like
Yeah,
you
because
want to
but in
advance
a
it.
sentence immediately like just kind of crushes like everything you've said before the
Mhm.
but. The
Mhm.
but just kind of is their own sentence. It's like the start of its own sentence.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, another good replacement for but I heard is in Polish it would be something like simultaneously, so at the same time. So instead of saying but, you should okay, but simultaneously, or
You
at
still
the same
said
time.
but.
Yeah, but it's not but. It's like at the same time,
Yeah.
So it's true, and my thing is right next to yours,
Yeah, yeah,
rather
yeah.
than mine is better than yours or whatever. So in terms of when you have negotiation, but even just we talk about social context and conversations. Yeah, I try not to use but as well. I remember when I learned about it, it really clicked, and I remember it. And it now simultaneously. So Krzysztof Sarnecki said it. So obviously, peace out, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So it's actually this rule. I see it comes as a principle that comes from improvisational, improv theater, improv.
Yeah.
Okay, improvisational theater. Instead of shutting down an idea, you affirm it and then build upon it. So it helps people who are, obviously acting, but they don't have any, planned or pre-planned scenario. So they have to like build upon the idea live, and that's one of the techniques. That makes complete sense.
Yeah, I sometimes also use or. So, for example, in my English lessons, right? Let's say someone makes a mistake, and I don't want to immediately like shut them down and say like, "Oh no, you're wrong." I say yes, or you could say it that way, right? So, like at the same time, I'm saying yes, you did a good job. Or you could do it that way, and then I'm like kind of giving them the better way maybe to say it, and it kind of I've learned that it makes them feel good. They don't feel as discouraged as they would feel if I told them like no, like it's not that.
Yeah, and in terms of just practicing conversations with people, it's a great tool because yes, and then also you can rephrase or paraphrase what the person said to you. So kind of when you don't know what to say, like you really need to listen. They said something, you can say it in your own words, like say it back to them, and they will bounce back with something else. And I see that it works very often in my conversational English lessons and stuff when I'm like running out of things to say, and I just kind of repeat what they said in my own words, and they just advance. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm
it does
also
work.
in love with the follow-up questions. I think there's like you could ask as many follow-up questions as you can think of. There's no better way to actually like deepen the conversation and make it like go for longer.
100%. Follow-up questions are great. Sometimes you also run out of these, right? Because like there's
True.
what else should I ask about? But yeah,
but it's unusual to run out of the follow-up questions.
Yeah. Just need to be creative with it, 13.
Yeah.
Read it.
Avoid complaining or gossiping. Nobody likes to hear it.
I don't want to hear it, man. Not gonna lie. We actually had this one exercise now in the classes, and one of the things was like, is there anything you wish people would stop doing? And like 90% of people said complaining. Like nobody likes it. Nobody likes complainers. Gossipers, different story as well. But complainers, I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to,
Yeah, it is draining. Though sometimes you can bond with someone over complaining.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, complaints can bring you together as well sometimes.
Yeah.
If you have the same kind of target that you can complain about.
Yeah.
But
like your enemy is my friend, right?
common enemy, that is correct. That is correct. So it's just like you express your dissatisfaction. Not great. Research has shown that habitual complaining is linked with elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which over time can negatively impact mental and physical health. So it, like in a biological sense, complaining can literally make you sick.
Yeah, because you're complaining, you're doing it out loud. Therefore, it becomes like the way, right? Like the words you say are like what your life is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So that makes sense.
it's contagious as well. Like if you think about great speakers and leaders and like movies like Braveheart and even The Lion King. I saw the other day the second part, Mufasa, right? When Mufasa stands on the rock and then he talks to the animals, right? To the crowd or whatever. So he's like empowering, inspiring speech, and everybody's like, oh yeah, he makes sense. Yeah, let's do it. That's great. Let's mess up those lions or whatever, right? And they're like together, and it works, and so it's contagious. But by the same token, complaining is contagious. You sit in the group of people who are complaining, or you see one person that's complaining, and it just it gets to you. You're like, ah, yeah, that's kind of true. Like whatever. It just brings your morale down. It brings it down.
Don't you think that people need complaining from
Oh,
time
yeah.
to time?
It's existential.
Yeah,
need.
it is.
It
And
is.
then, you said it's connected to cortisol levels. And then I feel like there is this theory that once you name your emotion, it loses its power. And I think it's very true. If it comes to like negative emotions, especially, I feel anger because, I feel sadness because, yeah? So then, like transferring that theory to complaining, then when you have those elevated cortisol levels, you're like extremely stressed over something. And then, we as people hearing that we should not complain, nobody like complainers, blah, blah, blah. Like we think that we should be positive all the time. So like, no, I'm not gonna complain today because I cannot do it. And then you have no way to first of all name what's happening to you. Like I've had a crap day because like this weather is terrible. I feel tired, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I feel like acknowledging yourself and your feelings by complaining, it really like frees you from all of those, stuff. So I think, of course, like nobody likes complainers when you do it like 24/7 and like all you do is complain. Although I think it's healthy, like maybe not very often, but from time to time, whenever you have those, worse days or you're just stressed out about stuff, because you have to name what you're feeling. Yeah, and you have to kind of let it out.
100%.
So then to not get in like, to not be misunderstood that you should not do it, like try not to, but then sometimes we just need to.
I
The same
think
with like
it's
screaming, crying, and all of the other negative emotions.
Oh,
We need
yeah,
to do that. Because
definitely. Like even before like the recording here, we were talking with Yuka about our experience from today and about experience with English,
Yeah, and
whatever.
we were just
It was
complaining.
Exactly.
complaining.
Yeah.
It was, but we need to let it out. But at the same time, yeah, I think not to get too extreme. Like
Yeah.
obviously, you need to talk about things with people who understand you and with people who can
Yeah.
relate. But I think we often fall into this trap of just like doing it too much. Like you
Yeah,
already
that's
said,
true.
you hate this shit, you're tired,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, cool. But then move on
Yeah.
to something else. You don't have to like dwell on it. I think it's
Yeah,
about
for
dwelling
sure.
on it.
But
Finding
then,
that sweet spot.
Yeah, so my point would be just not to let it build up, because
Yeah.
then those cortisol levels are dangerous. Like it's not even about you feeling stressed out. It's about your whole body. You gaining weight, like your heart, your veins, everything that's happening to you. Then you're overthinking and then everything. Like we've done the episode on chronic stress. I don't think it's up on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, we have
I
to
think
record it again.
yeah, but we should do it again. Although I think it's important to be able to just let it down up, and just let it out and be.
So do it, but just don't make a habit out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
complain just to complain,
Yeah.
just because you're used to complaining.
Correct,
right?
correct. So that brings me kind of to the point of how to, kind of some tools and tips, what to do with complaining. So definitely don't make a habit out of it. We have gratitude journaling. So I used to journal more. I don't know what's your experience with journaling.
I've never done it.
Now I practice the thing that you did, the gratitude jar. So like writing down, I found that even writing down one sentence or one thing is actually good to build your gratitude and to build, to go against that complaining habit that we could have. So that's one thing. Reframing techniques. So when you catch yourself about to complain, pause and ask, what can I do to improve this situation, right? So very often, obviously, you're not gonna do it always. Like you're not trying to make people crazy here, like some coaching thing, like never complain. Sometimes you have to complain, but sometimes you can actually say, okay, can I, even after you complain, like, okay, so what can I do now to make it better maybe, right? How can I fix this situation for the future? Because like every complaint, I guess it could be an opportunity to do something cool with your life. If you complain about the job, well, maybe you should change it, right? So ask yourself, how do I do it? Mindfulness practice, so practice meditation, deep breathing. It's kind of a cliche, but well, it does work. So it's pretty amazing. Positive language challenge, set a daily or weekly challenge to speak positively. It's a challenge. For a lot of people who are out there complaining about everything, well, set a challenge for yourself, to say more positive words, literally count it or whatever, that could work. solution focused conversations rather than okay, so how, complaining, what's one step we can take to make this better. So it's kind of again focusing on reframing and looking for solutions. Self-monitoring, so kind of comes back to the journaling, and model positive behavior, so be a role model in your social and professional circles. And I kind of agree with this, you should be a person that you would love to follow. You should be the person that you would want to follow. Like, it's obviously some everybody complains every now and then, but if you really looked at yourself complaining all the time, would you like to follow yourself, or would you like your son to be like you? So just think about that for a minute.
Yeah, I have one more, and I think it's the easiest one out of the ones that you've mentioned. And I just thought about what to call it, and I think it would be state the opposite. You know what I do? Whenever I catch myself complaining, like, I am so tired, I am so sad, I am so stressed, I literally rephrase this and I'm not tired, I am not sad, I am not stressed. And it literally helps me. Or like, I don't want to do it, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, I do feel like doing it. And it's so like, it might sound so dumb because like, why would you do that? But really, I'm like, I don't know, getting ready for the Zoom or whatever, like putting my phone on charge, and like, I'm saying I don't want to do it, I don't have the time for it. I do have the time, I do want to do it, and it's like, seriously, such a stupid thing it may seem like, but then it really,
No, but it does work.
it does work. Like, our brains and minds are like crazy, machines, and it does work. Like, whatever, even if you don't think it, if you just say it, like, that just works, So
Yeah, today I had this exact situation.
I do it every day.
Yeah, I had to, get ready for my Zoom call, and then I was like in my mind, oh, like I wish I could sleep anymore, right? Like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, what, like, is it gonna do for me if I'm gonna keep repeating, like, oh, I don't want to do it? I'm just, okay, I want to do it. And I just did it, I would have done it anyway, but with a different attitude. And it's
I
just
feel like we were in a
so
very
much
similar
better.
situation today, because I also felt like, oh my days, bruv, like, again, I don't want to do this Zoom calls and stuff. But actually, every time it happens, I have Andrew Tate in my mind, believe it or not. And Andrew Tate, I remember he said, why would you want your mind not to go with you, rather against you, rather?
Exactly.
Right?
Why
I was like,
wouldn't
okay, why
you?
would I allow my mind not to work for me? It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, I literally should be in charge. So I kind of try to reframe it, think about it, and it does work. I was like, nah, motherfucker, you want to do it, we're gonna do it, and you're gonna feel great, right? So it's kind of like, but it does work, though. It does work.
Yeah, and I would also like to note that, like, what you're complaining about constantly and you're not changing is your choice. It's literally your decision. If you're complaining about how bad your job is for, let's say, a year or two, and you're not changing it, that's your decision to have that job, right? That's your decision to feel that way. So I think it's also important to notice on, like, what things, like, we are complaining about daily, or for example for a longer period of time, and then just kind of sit with them and see if we can change them in any way, just for us to have a better life.
Yeah. But coming back, definitely people don't like complainers or gossipers too much. So as much as we all like to complain and gossip a little bit, I think it's even necessary, like socially necessary to do it, existentially necessary to do it. We need to talk a little bit about other people, a little bit complaining here and then, but yeah, just don't make a habit of it, and just don't do it too much. Next.
14. Storytelling is a superpower. Uses structure like setup, tension, and resolution. For sure, like, storytelling always everywhere. So in business or in like your personal life, whenever you state your point with a story, like, you're being heard because people remember it. So I don't know, set up tension, resolution. I think it just helps us out to like be able to know how to, sell our story actually. So first, like, we set it up. So we say what happened, how it happened, in what situation. Then you create the tension. So like, what could the problem be? And then you solve the problem. So it's the same like in sales. You should create a problem and then solve it. And that's how you make a sale. So yeah, I think pretty like obvious, basic, but very important,
Yeah.
I think it's basic, but there's so many elements to it. So wow, I think we should do another like an entire episode on storytelling.
Maybe
and,
for sure,
and
because
importance of stories, because we literally see the world through the story. Like, our perception is based on the story we tell ourselves. It's crazy. But even in the public speaking, when we did the course and everything, so the way you speak and the emotionality and the tone that you that you use is also very important, because you can say the same story in a completely different way. You can say,
Yeah.
yesterday I went to this place and this happened and that. Or you can say, yesterday I went to this place and this happened and then that happened. And like the way you
Definitely.
use your emotions, and then you kind of cool down and you kind of make it a little bit more quiet to build up
Yeah.
tension. And people like, oh yeah, so what's gonna happen next? So it's different, but you can say the same thing in a mundane, boring, dull
Yeah.
way, you know?
And it looks very similar in like education, like learning for kids. Like they learn best from books, videos, or whatever, some series, because they have a story there,
But not even
and
a
not
kids,
just straight up facts
yeah,
like
yeah,
in
but
those
the
books,
same with
right?
adults, man.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
like people don't think about it. That why do we give kids the books with stories, or like with those images, like those pictures or whatever, because it's a story that
Yeah.
they even those English books for kids. Each of the units they
Yeah.
have their own story. This one's about a bird who I don't know went somewhere and got lost. This one's about whatever. They all have stories,
Mhm.
and then we like what the kids grow up, and then all of a sudden you think you can just give them like the, I don't know, the math equation. You can tell them
Yeah.
remember it or what. Like it's just and we forget, and we just we stick to those random like facts. And that's it. And we don't try to create a story. There's a story everywhere. There is a story in each of the sentences that we're saying, and each of the situation we want to describe, and then actually in each of the statements that we're making, because you make them for a reason, right? So you make them because you lived through it, or because you heard it, or because you read it, or because whatever. So there's a story everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Whatever I guess brings emotion in us, we're gonna remember. So
Yeah.
the stories bring out emotion.
You know
Emotions
what?
in us.
Have you seen the CeraVe advertisements? CeraVe, the cream brand? Like, you should all watch it. Like, I'm not gonna tell you what's there, but if you wanna see the mastery of storytelling, like, just watch those.
Okay.
Seriously, CeraVe advertisement. You won't believe that's the advertisement for the first like minute or two, and then you will see like that's just crazy.
Okay.
I've had some consultations on like advertisement and public speaking there, and they showed me the ad, and I couldn't believe that somebody thought of it. Like they just genius.
Okay.
Seriously.
Same with Uber Eats advertisement. I think it's their last one with Robert De Niro. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's also like you wouldn't say it's an advertisement, and it's just so good. And it
That
touches
one's just like a
emotions.
movie trailer. Like
Yeah.
seriously, you watch a movie and then at the end, like the
Yeah.
guy turns out to be this battle of CeraVe cream or whatever. But you're
Yeah.
so invested into this, I would like totally go for a movie, seriously, and it's just like genius, And I think, and they don't like. They do talk about the product, but not, in a straight up way. They just tell a story about something that you think is totally different than, then they show that and they sell, so yeah.
Yeah, it's the emotions. But also, I think the same goes with the rhymes and music.
100%.
Because, like, look how easily you can remember, like, the lyrics to a song because it has a beat, right? Like, you're gonna listen to it twice and you can sing it, right? The same with rhymes. I love using rhymes whenever I teach because, like, people just remember it. And like, most importantly, I remember them and I just keep repeating them. And just very easy and, like, pleasurable to remember.
Yeah, it's not a struggle. Like, you don't hustle to remember it. Exactly. That's how I've learned most of my English, and this is what I want to build in the future, right? In terms of teaching English, using all these tools that we just talked about, stories, memory techniques, music, because nobody really does it. I don't know why, but yeah. It's crazy. So it's a very broad topic, but telling stories, making them relatable, personable, sharing stories from your own life, some insights. It makes people fall in love with you, I think.
Yeah, and you
keep
also
people
build the
interested.
connection. You build the connection with whoever you're speaking to, because even I, sometimes I tell a story which is not really from my real life. I can admit to that. Like, seriously, sometimes I just make up this story,
Yeah.
but it
Don't
works
we all
so
do? Yeah.
well. No, because usually I used to just share from my own life. Like, people tell me I am oversharing. I don't think I'm oversharing. I'm just making friends, and I don't care that you know it. Like, I'm just kind of different than, this Polish mindset that people have sometimes. Although I just make up the story, and, people feel connected to me because they think I've shared something from my personal life. I did not, but then I feel the connection to them because they do the same thing, back to me. So they tell me, oh yeah, and and when and they tell me the story again. So, other than only getting your point across, you're also, building those connections and, networking that, like, we spoke about it, and it's very, very important. So, yeah.
That's why it's also so important to know your why, because if you don't know your why, then the world is not a coherent and cohesive story, really. Like you just
Definitely.
don't know what to look at.
And you don't
You
know
know?
what story to make up.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know the story exactly. Like everything
Yeah.
is just so random and overwhelming,
Yeah.
and it's anxiety provoking. It's crazy.
It
You
still
know?
is sometimes, even if you know your why.
Even
It
yeah,
is.
even if you know, but imagine if you don't. That's
Yeah.
that
And you're
it's
just
really
wondering,
bad. It's just
why
so
is
It's a
it
much.
loophole.
There's
why
an
me? Why does
infinite
it happen to me?
infinite number of things to look at, an infinite amount of information to potentially learn.
Yeah.
So what do you
That's
choose? It's
true.
crazy. It's too much.
Today I've had a realization because we searched something online on our meeting, something that we know that something is true. And then we search it online, and the first 12 articles contradict that idea. And then another 12 are on our side, let's say, and then another 12 are in the middle of it. And I've just like started thinking that a person wanting to get a piece of information, typing it in Google, like you're getting multiple different sources with multiple different points of view, multiple different standings. This one tells you this is evil, but this one tells you this is evil. And like, look how stupid as a society we become because we don't know. Like, you don't know, and then you go to this all-knowing Google or like search engine, whatever you're using, and you think it's gonna give you all the answers. And if you're like smart enough to scroll through and open multiple of those articles, you will just find that it doesn't give you any answers, because everything contradicts each other. Like I had this realization today when we looked at it, and I was just shocked, because like we want to learn, but who do you learn from, or what do you learn from? Like that's what we're saying, like where, like what's true, and then that's why I think it's very important to find your why, because you know on which side of it maybe you're standing, what you believe, so what's true for you, because
Right.
like it shows us that there's no infinite truth, because from one point of view it looks like that, from the other point it looks like that, but then if you know your why, you know who you are, like what resonates with you more, then you can find your side, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
It was
And I
just
guess
stupid.
Look at it critically. Think about it.
Yeah,
critically.
but even if you do and you read another article, like you may be convinced that it's the other way, and then you read the third one and then you're confused.
Yeah.
So it just
So thank God for ChatGPT. Like it helps us solve a lot of problems.
Yeah,
I
it does,
guess,
but then still, sometimes if you ask a different way, it gives
No, it's
you
like
another, and then
it's
it cites a source,
it's
and
a half joke because
yeah,
sometimes it hallucinates.
exactly.
So, yeah.
And even if or it gives me this may be that or that, and it
Yeah.
cites two sources, which literally they just say two different things, totally different things, on the topics that should be pretty straightforward. So
Well, maybe there's never like one truth. That's also interesting.
Yeah.
but then what is the truth?
Well, depends on the topic. There are probably
True.
many aspects of something, right? So,
But then what is the truth?
Yeah, but it all comes to like the critical thinking, as you said.
Yeah.
And
I think on knowing who you are and what your points of view are and who you are as a person, what you resonate
yeah,
with.
but then at the same time, the points of view might change over the time,
Yeah.
even like
But then
over the course
okay,
of a
maybe
day.
my point was that if you don't know who you are, you don't have your why, you're just confused.
yeah.
Because
You
when
are.
you know where you are, you're like, okay, maybe I can change my point of view because those are my beliefs on this side, and then these are the other person's. Maybe we can work it out. And then when you're in the middle, like you read all of those, and then what are you supposed to think?
Yeah, you
Like,
don't have this base on the foundation. You don't have it. Okay, yeah.
100%. So just finishing off practical tools and tips for storytelling. Use a clear structure. Start with an engaging introduction that sets the stage. Introduce conflict or challenges that create tension, and then resolve the conflict with actionable insights or a positive outcome. 2. Incorporate personal elements. Use personal anecdotes or case studies to make your narrative relatable. Even if you're sharing data, frame it in a context that speaks to a human experience. 3. Focus on emotional resonance. Identify the emotions you want to evoke: hope, empathy, determination, and weave them naturally into your story. Use vivid language and metaphors to paint a picture. That's very important, right? Metaphors, vivid language, kind of giving us images. People love that. Keep it concise and relevant, and then practice active delivery. Active delivery being when telling your story, use natural pauses, varied tone, and expressive body language to maintain engagement. Rehearse your narrative to ensure a smooth delivery that feels authentic. Yes, sir. Okay. Next.
Agreed.
So next, when I saw it, it sounded controversial, but it does make sense. Every dog has its day because dogs are friendly. Lesson in there.
Dogs are friendly.
Every dog has its day. I don't know. It sounds strange. Like it just sounds weird. Like you're you know, every dog has its day. You're gonna have your day someday, buddy. So you know, it's like a gangster kind of. You know what I mean? Like a kind of gangster. Every dog has its day, buddy. Don't worry. It's kind of a good message, but it's like, you know, kind of strange at
We
the
used
same
to
time.
have dog days.
Yeah.
Oh, we
You know
did.
what would we do? We would just take them out for any dog activities they would like. I mean, we thought they would like, okay, because like they
Yeah.
don't talk. But we would just go to the park, then we would go to the dog store so they could
Yeah.
pick up the toy, then they could get lunch, then we could go to grandma's because she feeds them, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
And then we could like, you know, do some more of the activities. And I just, yeah, sorry, I just thought about it, so I
it
shared.
was called a dog day.
It was called a dog day. And
happening, like,
one
when
time, yeah, one time we even did a jar, remember?
yes.
We had this jar that we one day we just sat down and we put like multiple ideas for the activities for a dog day. We put them in a jar, and whenever we decided that it's a dog day, we were like, you know, pulling something out of the jar and then looking, and it was like, go to grandma's, or like go to Zegże, or like go to the dog store and get me 5 toys. Like, you know, like it was so, yeah, like of course we wrote it ourselves, but it was so nice to like be able to think that they told us that and that they're
Yeah.
having a fun day, you know. So that was a dog day, but whatever, that's not the dog day we're talking about.
That's not the dog day. Every day has this dog. The core idea implies that eventually everyone will experience success or a breakthrough moment, right? In this context, but being consistently friendly and approachable, what we just talked about, like a dog, you enhance your chances of receiving opportunities and positive outcomes. So I guess just practicing being approachable and friendly. I don't know. I don't know what we think about it, guys.
Networking.
Okay. Yeah.
Networking.
Yeah.
It gives you like opportunities, I think.
Yeah, I guess you don't really want to talk to a guy who's like seems cold and distant and I don't know, mysterious. It sounds cool for like movies and TV shows, but for like networking events, like I don't want to talk to these people.
Yeah,
I don't
neither
know.
do
Like,
you want to buy anything from them.
yeah, like you're dodgy, mate. Like you're sus. Like
Yeah.
if you're approachable, obviously don't be like silly, but sometimes being silly is better than like mysterious. You know what's mysterious, man?
True,
You know?
true. But I guess it also talks about like the good karma. So if you're
Yeah.
good like a dog, like eventually your 5 minutes are gonna come.
It just doesn't seem appropriate.
Why do you presume
It
that?
doesn't seem appropriate. We, you know, we match people to dogs, like we stand them. You
I
know.
mean, dogs
but-
are
Right next to each
loyal,
other.
good,
But there is
friendly.
exactly, there is a point in there.
Yeah, that's
they
it.
all-
There's lesson in there. Yeah.
You're not gonna
100%.
say like as a cat, like no, cats are like rude.
Yeah, cats are
Yeah,
rude.
yeah.
And
cats
did
are
you
rude,
hear
know.
that the cats, I mean, I don't know if it's true. Again, I searched it up, so I'm not sure. But apparently cats, after you die, cats eat you.
True.
While
after
the
3
dog
days.
dies next to you because they just, you know, miss you so much. If nobody takes them like somewhere, they die with you after you a couple of days, and the cat just waits for you to, you know, and then he eats you.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
cat
like
is-
what kind of friend is that? Like, why would you
Well,
want to have a cat?
if you're not gonna feed your cat anymore because you're dead, so like he's just
So yeah,
gonna,
so
he
he's
needs
just
to
gonna,
take care
okay.
of himself.
So he's
man.
gonna eat you while the dog's gonna die with you.
Yeah, why would you? You know, yeah, cats are more. You know, they don't care like that.
Yeah.
They're different. Cats are different.
We used to had multiple cats. We had
Like
what,
four.
5?
No,
5.
like 4.
No, 5.
It was Franek, Alfred.
You had
It
so many
doesn't
cats,
matter.
honestly.
Yeah.
It was Franek,
was
Alfred, Zygmuntyna, Franciszka. And Bury.
I Bury, ale Bury
It
nigdy
was
z nami
5.
nie mieszkał.
Okay.
No, he was outside
Yeah.
of
Okay.
the door. Sometimes he walked in, but he.
No, we would just feed him, and then he would always fight our like home cats like, all the time because he was big, like he was
was
huge. Bury was huge, I swear.
Okay. So you're just fucking the mother cats up.
And he was like all
Yeah.
gray, and he looked like a huge, mean cat.
Every day, yeah, but day by day he would be like in front of our house, you know, just like it was our cat. He just wouldn't come in.
Okay. Nice. So that's what that's it. Cats are, I guess, more practical in that sense. So they would eat you because like they're not gonna starve in it. Like they just
Yeah,
you know,
put
they can
me
take care of themselves.
first.
So how to be more friendly and dog-like in a positive sense. So make a habit of smiling, maintaining eye contact, and using open body language. Approach every interaction with genuine warmth. Remember that consistency is key. So this lady said, "What is charisma?" What would you say is charisma?
The way you are,
Meaning?
meaning like the way you maybe talk, the way you like behave yourself around
Uh-huh.
people, maybe your confidence is also
Mhm.
your charisma.
So she said two key ingredients are charisma that they found like cross-culturally and across many different studies. It was competence and warmth.
Okay.
You know, that's charisma. When you're competent, you know what you're talking about, but you also have warmth, you know, and it's actually one of the key factors and key traits that distinguish normal, healthy, mentally healthy people from psychopaths. Like psychopaths are super competent, right? Like most of the times,
But they have no
they have no
empathy.
warmth, and you can feel it. Like most people, after some interaction, you can actually something off with this guy. You know, something is off.
True, true. And it's
Um,
also like in their eyes.
yeah.
There's like no emotion in their eyes.
Yeah.
And it's also like alarming.
Yeah, correct. So warmth and competence being the key ingredients to charisma, which I found very interesting, and well, that's I guess great area to practice
Yeah.
your competency and also practice warmth. Leverage positive reinforcement, meaning notice how others respond to your friendly behavior and let that encourage you to continue fostering positive interactions. Practice active empathy, listen attentively and show interest in others' stories. So actually listen and empathize with their feelings. As this builds trust and long-term connections. So again, when it comes to being charismatic and people liking you, if you remember, the last conversation we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
So what's
The
up with
little
that?
details.
The little details. What's up with your mom? What's up with your sister? What's up with this? And they're like, oh, you remember? It's like amazing. They love you for that,
Yeah.
Be patient. Recognize that while success may not come immediately, your consistent friendliness is an investment that will eventually pay off. So again, it's something that don't let yourself become resentful. I think so. If you treat people nicely, they don't treat you nicely. I hear sometimes this like when you're loving and caring, people will just use you, and I think it's a stupid thing.
In a way, it is true. If you are
Okay.
loving, caring, warm, and you don't know your boundaries, you don't know how to say no, people will use you, and that's
but
just
you just
how
said
it
it
is.
yourself. If you don't know your boundaries and you don't set these boundaries properly, like you have to definitely have to
Yeah.
have boundaries. Like you can't just be a pushover. We not talk about that, but we talk about just being friendly for the sake of being friendly.
Yeah, it's important because you can be friendly, you can be kind, and still say no.
Oh yeah,
You can be
you
kind
should.
and still have your own opinion, or like not be okay with stuff that
Yeah.
you're not okay with, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
I feel like people confuse it a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. So you can
So-
be nice and friendly and warm and have boundaries.
Yes, and still like say no.
Yeah,
Or-
definitely. So
or
it's
just, yeah.
those two definitely go hand in hand.
Yes.
And the last one we have reflect on interactions after social encounters. Reflect on what went well and consider areas for improvement. Whatever. So just so you can approach another situation that much smarter and wiser with knowledge. You know?
Yes, but don't become too obsessed with it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you don't go crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as you're kind, as long as you have a pure heart, like your 5 minutes is gonna come.
100%. Every dog has its day. So
Dog.
stick in there, kids.
Dogs on probation.
What's next? Number 17, is it?
No.
No?
16.
Okay.
16. Oh yeah, the quality.
All right. So the quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life.
Well, the strength and depth of your relationships, both personal and professional, directly impact your overall well-being, happiness, and success. And high-quality relationships provide obviously emotional support, inspire growth, and create a positive feedback loop. I don't think we have to explain it to him, but maybe we should. But yeah, the quality of the relationships. That's why they say quality over quantity. And I agree with it. I agree with it very much. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I feel like ever since, again, most of my close relationships and encounters and the kind of social life has been in Warsaw with you, my life's better. So it's good. Like you
Nice,
guys
that's
are,
good to hear.
yeah, you guys are obviously positive and you have like a mindset for set to like get better and stuff like this, improvement mindset and or whatever. So yeah, it's been working pretty well until today because of Natalia's comments. So we have to chat about that later. But yeah, overall it's been pretty well. The quality of the relationships.
Just sitting in front of me, so that's
Obviously-
why you were on the hook.
yeah, we'll take it apart later on.
Yeah,
But
alright.
obviously, the first relationship, the quality of a relationship, you can't forget about the relationship with yourself. The quality of relationship with yourself will determine the quality of your life. First and foremost, like the people around you, they may change, they may disappear, they may do different things, they may change their mind about you, they may turn out to be, I don't know, snakes.
Yeah.
We will see, but the first and foremost, the relationship you have to nurture is the relationship with yourself, sir and madam. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, got nothing to add. So true. Yeah, got nothing to add. So true.
All right. Yeah, I think we're good. So, so yeah, no, like people say that even like whenever you can't ever be alone and be successful or happy. Like
Yeah.
this is a lie that people who are lonely are
True.
happy and are successful. Like maybe, but to some extent. And
Yeah.
then we have to remember that we could do so much more having a team, a relationship, as somebody by our side, than we can do by ourselves. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you can't do a lot. You can do a lot, but then you can do twice as much or 3 times as much or 4 times as much if you just let somebody in. And I don't believe that you can be lonely and happy
True. As
or like fulfilled. Maybe happy, yes, because you can buy this like feeling of happiness, or
Yeah.
you can just run to those little things that you can just get by, ask for, but then you can be fulfilled, and like truly reach your potential if you're just by yourself, because who's gonna challenge you, or then who's gonna hold you accountable, or who's gonna like give you some time that you don't have to, I don't know. I just feel like you have to be with somebody all the time.
True. As unfortunate as it is, we do need people, and it's
I don't think it's
Why is it
unfortunate.
unfortunate?
because I feel like it's a tough job to actually nourish and like care for relationships. And like obviously it's good to have the relationships, but sometimes I guess people or someone might feel like, okay, it would be easier if I didn't need the people, right? Because people like turn out to not be the people we thought they were, which is normal, which is okay, because it's just some of them. But yeah, like the point was we do need the people, and we
Yeah.
do need to put the relationships first, because as you said, who's gonna challenge us, and also who's gonna give us that meaning, right? We could have everything in the world, but if we have no one to share it with, it's just it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I also, well, in terms of the social skills, why quality of your the relationships is important, because I think if you have like quality relationships, in your daily life, you have good friends or whatever, then I think it just brings you more confidence in general. So when you approach a new social situation, maybe it's kind of sets your compass in a better direction as well. Like you're not desperate for relationships, and you're more what would you say?
Like your confidence level,
Yeah,
is up.
yeah. You're just your compass is just set properly, I think, in a
Like
way,
balanced, maybe.
Yeah, and you're not like desperate for those relationships, and yeah.
Yeah, so if you're not desperate for relationships, you make room for the good relationships to
Yeah.
come.
Then you need those relationships all the time. And I've had a conversation today. Somebody asked somebody if you know a person who, like, they wanted to make some kind of deal. They needed some help. Like, oh, maybe you know a person who. And then the other person was like, no, we do not. And then the third person was sitting there. It's like, what do you mean you do not? You just need to know 7 people. And those 7 people will get you anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm.
And let that 7 people, like whatever you need, whatever help you need with whatever, 7 people. If it's this 7 people, maybe not. Maybe it's this. 7 people having those connections. So 7 people having built those relationships, and then you building those relationships with them and connecting and talking to them, it will get you where you want. And so many things can be just done through networking, or like through knowing people, not necessarily going through like normal channels or whatever. So just 7 people, like when you think about it, is it a lot to just know like multiple times 7? Like
No.
it's not only 7, it's like you always like this one has connection with
Yeah.
this one with this one, and whatever, but it's just 7 people.
Yeah, they say
It
there's
takes
like
7 conversations, let's say.
yeah, there's always 7 people that are between you and any person in the world,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
literally anyone.
That's
yeah. So if you
interesting.
want to
Yeah.
get something done, you just
7
have to know.
handshakes away.
Yeah, you just have to know 7 right people. And if you don't know the 7 right people yet, maybe you know 3. So you should just go out and get to know more.
Mm-hmm.
7 conversations, 7 connections, 7 handshakes,
Mm-hmm.
7 follows, 7 messages. Oh, you're doing a nice job, or
Correct.
7 whatever. Like that's a connection as well, and that's something that then opens up the way for you to go and ask for a favor.
That's so interesting. I've never
7
heard
people.
it before.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I think
And when
very
you think
often
of it, it makes so much sense.
it does. But very often, to get to those 7 quality people, you need to get through. You need to kind of get
Yes,
through a lot
but
of.
still, not every time it's gonna be the same 7 people.
Sure.
Because you want different things. You need
Sure.
help with different stuff, like in different areas of life.
Sure.
Here you need a mechanic. Here you need a coach. Here you need somebody who's, I don't know, going to help you open up a business, and then somebody who's going to help you build a house. So it's like always different 7 people, although it's always just 7.
Yeah, but then you also have to remember to be a person of value, right? So you
Yeah.
also could be like that guy for them.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. You also have to be that 7th or one of those 7th people
Yeah.
for somebody else. That's your job.
Yeah,
That's your
you
job,
can't
man.
just take and not give.
No,
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
yeah, but that's like one of the
also-
fundamental rules that you just have to
Correct.
return a favor
Have
in
to be
some
a
way.
valuable piece of the puzzle, man.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways that you can be. Sometimes we think that we can't, but like each one of us has so much to offer. Like
Correct.
seriously. And then
Correct.
sometimes you feel like I can't. I just have to pay the money because that's the only thing I can give. And no, what if money wasn't the currency? Like what would you give?
Correct.
That's such a strong question.
What would you give
It
if money
is.
wasn't currency?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I had so many like
Nice.
deep conversations like this week, and then if money wasn't a currency, what would you do? Like, what would
With
people
who,
do?
man?
How would
we
people?
didn't talk to us. Who are you
How
talking
would-
to, man?
That's
No,
I can say.
What is going on?
I don't know, man.
What is going on?
Separate
Anyway,
podcast on the
no,
side.
if no. If alright, if money wasn't a currency, what would you pay with? Tell me.
Well, right now,
Yeah,
I really would like to think about it if you don't mind.
yeah. Like think about it. If money wasn't a currency, what would you pay with? Like, because some people would give you some food that they plant.
Yeah.
Some people would give you some cosmetics that they, produce. Some people would give you their knowledge. Like, obviously, you can do that. You can give them you can teach them the language. That's a very good currency. But, like, some people would fix the sink. Some people would fix the car, Like, what would you do if money wasn't the currency? Like, imagine that world.
Mhm.
Yeah, crazy.
Mhm. I love that question. It's really nice. It's really nice.
What would
I'm
you
still
pay
waiting
with?
for an answer. Who are you talking to about these deep topics? But yeah.
I can say.
Okay.
Yeah, we can discuss it later.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe to myself in the mirror,
Getting crazy in that house, man.
Or to
With
Ben.
Ben.
Talking to Ben.
He was just
Chatting
talking to
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben is a dog.
He's a dog. 17.
Yeah.
to
Whoa.
discover blind spots, is that mine or yours?
You go ahead.
Okay. It's gonna be a cat. To discover blind spots, build an inner circle that will give you honest feedback.
Yes. So kind of an aftermath of what we just talked about in terms of quality relationships. Like you need to have people, not a bunch of yes men.
Yeah.
Like you need people who will tell you what's up.
Yeah, like tough love, friends.
Tough love, right? So
Open communication,
open
friends.
communication, friends. So I want to know who you were chatting to, and I will not stop until I find out. So yeah, but yeah, just to be like real with you. Yeah, blind spots. So like people who will like actually tell you what's up with you. I'm still waiting for an answer. What's up with me? Because I asked you, and you still haven't told me. So I'm still waiting.
Oh yeah,
I want to ask about weaknesses and strengths and stuff, but yeah, like ask some people about strengths and weaknesses. Still waiting for an answer from you, and you. But it's okay. But yeah, even if you don't ask, it's great to have people who will, just be honest with you and
Who will just tell you how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
exactly.
what you want to hear, but
Just
what
keep
you
it-
need to hear.
Exactly. Keep it real, man. Keep it real. It's very important. Not bunch of yes men. But to have that, you need to first of all be able to receive. Which is I feel like a lot of people are not ready to receive, rather not able but ready and able to. and to be the person that will do the same for them. And
Yes.
are you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you the person that will do the same? Like, will you keep it real when push comes to shove? Will you keep it real, sir? You know, you can't expect something you can't give. So, you have to
True.
keep it real. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at you. I don't really mean that.
Mm.
That way.
I wasn't offended. It's a good sign.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, discover blind spots, build an inner circle that will give you honest feedback. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So I think we can move on to 18. Normalize I don't know anything about that yet as a successful answer.
I love it. I love it. And it's I don't know. I feel like we don't really have the culture of it. Like if you don't know it, then you seem as I don't know silly or something. But you're actually, it's so important.
True,
to
I
know.
literally hate the kind of people who will make you like feel dumb
Yeah.
if you don't know something. Like
Yeah.
literally, I don't know it. Like just educate me on it.
Mhm.
If you wanna have a conversation about it, right?
Mhm.
But like, not everyone will know everything.
Mhm.
Like one person will know the stuff that the other person won't know, and the other way.
I think like a lot of people should just normalize it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, and it's okay.
Yeah, and it keeps you from like looking stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have nothing to say, it's better not to say it
Mhm.
than to say like the wrong thing or the
Mhm.
thing that like you're not really sure of.
Mhm. It's good to have opinions, good to have thoughts, it's good to have critical thinking, but yeah, at the same time, just shut up for once.
Just shut up at this point.
Just shut up at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just normalize. I don't know anything about it in terms of social interactions. It's great because you can meet people and you can tell them, they tell you something like, I don't know, tell me more, and they will just tell you things, and it's great because then you know more,
Yeah,
and
and
you're
you're
not so
giving
silly
them an
anymore.
opportunity to like to educate you.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity. You don't have to talk, you don't have to do anything. Just say, no, I don't know anything about it. Tell me.
Yeah.
Just tell me.
Yeah, and if they're gonna be willing to tell you, then that's
And
great.
even if you heard it, like even if somebody tells you a joke and you heard this joke, but it's from somebody else, just say you didn't hear it. Like
Yeah,
you
just
never heard
laugh.
this joke
Just laugh at
said
it.
by this
Yeah.
person. Like just
Mhm.
normalize saying, no, I don't know, tell me. Oh, that's very interesting. Tell me. Like we don't have it. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me. We don't do it. Like we are
That's
so
so
numb
true.
to things. Like it's like you
Mhm.
know everything. You're not curious anymore. I don't like it, man. Not just like not. I would say I hate it even. Like
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true. And there's also this one rule that if a person cannot fix it in like 10 seconds, don't tell them about it,
Mm.
right? So, for example, if
yeah.
I know my hair is looking crazy, but I have no way of fixing it in like, let's say less than a minute, like just do not tell me about
Mhm.
it. Like if you do, that's just rude.
Yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. Like it's to
It's-
say someone like,
yeah.
"Oh, you look tired today." It's like, if that was supposed to be a compliment, not a good one though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
why
Just
would you
keep it
say
to
that?
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you have sometimes like if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because why? Like
It's why? Yeah.
why?
It's
Why?
silly. It is silly, man. It is
And
silly.
it's
Like
arrogant. It's just not nice.
definitely. But we should definitely normalize saying that and just practice the again curiosity.
Mhm.
Like actually actively practice it. Just be curious about things.
True.
That would be great. It would be great world. I'm curious who you were talking to about those interesting things. Still curious, man.
We're gonna find out soon enough.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay. What was that?
Something was playing.
No. Just playing.
All right.
19. Is it
I
really?
don't understand what it says.
Record and study your speaking like an athlete watching a game film.
And this is actually what I do when I'm editing this podcast and I'm watching myself and you guys, but I can only obviously better myself. And it's very interesting because I watch myself, I look at myself, and I'm like, okay, here you could have said it better. Here you could have done something differently. Here you could have, all those things. And it's very powerful. But it's one of the techniques that salespeople do as well, like especially
But
call.
explain to me how an athlete watches game film.
like they watch the game, their previous game, to see what they could have done better,
Yeah.
or to like
They
observe
Okay,
other
so they're
players.
previous games. I
Yeah.
was very confused.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought,
there. Yeah,
you know what I imagined?
Yeah.
No, you don't know.
No, like, no, tell me then.
That was so dismissive of me.
No, tell me, because I thought you said something else. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what I imagine? An athlete sitting on a couch and then, drinking something or eating and then watching a game like of some random stuff and just like and I couldn't like connect what this one has to do with the other.
No, definitely.
Alright, so his game film.
Yes,
Yeah.
like your previous
Okay.
performance,
Or
you
even
know?
other players'
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Players.
Others, but
Player.
Players. No, because like I wanted to like the players' game.
players, just players.
Players' game.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah, players is a little bit. But yeah, just watch yourself, analyze yourself, see the strengths, see areas for improvements, like a tone, body language, pace, filler words, clarity.
Yeah, but like all laughter aside, I think it's a very good thing whenever we do public speaking. I do those sessions with the people I teach and I record them. And first reaction is always, what is that? Why did you do it? Like blah blah. Like first of all, they even refuse to let me do that. Then when we discuss that, and then they say okay. After they don't want to watch it, but then 3 to 5 times later, I've counted that they love watching themselves. Because they see the progress and they're like, yeah, you know what? I said that wrong here, but maybe you can't really hear it. Like So first of all, it was about improving themselves, and then later, once they reached the point that it was okay for them, it was more about like accepting, and being able to, now I can go on. And it's so rewarding whenever I hear that, oh, I've done the meeting, oh, I've done the talk, I've spoken, I wasn't stressed about it, like I know I did a good job. So this recording for sure, just record. The same was in sports whenever I was competing on this horse jumping. Remember, like it was always recorded. And then there it's difficult to see because you can, like, it's far away, so you can only see your turns, you can only see the amount of steps that the horse done, the falls and stuff. Although like it's just like you can rewatch and then you know what you've done. So I think now it makes more sense than an athlete watching something on a couch
like some random game.
and just random game and I was just wondering if he's like like all like sitting straight up or is he like laid back. That's what was going on in my head.
Okay, yeah, no, it does make sense. Like you record yourself, you watch yourself, you listen to yourself. As I said, like salespeople do it. When they call people, right? They practice their script. They record themselves until they get bored of saying it. The same script, just in different voice notes, different voice, different tonality, and it helps a lot to improve yourself. So it's a great practice that you can do. And it doesn't take that much because you can, practice a simple script, few minutes a day, and it actually really, really improves. Like you would be crazy, you would really be surprised, how much it enhances your performance.
True. At first, it's gonna be brutal, as Natalka you said, but
Yeah.
then it's just gonna get better and better.
Correct. It's like it's like that with everything. So, beginnings are always tough.
True.
And last one.
20. Yeah.
Great leaders create leaders, not followers.
Yeah, of course.
And again, I have some Mufasa in my head because in the final scene of that, spoiler alert. So if you guys haven't seen Mufasa,
What platform did you watch it on, by the way? I was wondering.
A cinema.
no, like this platform, I send you the link later. It's,
This illegal platform.
it's very legal. It's very legal, but I'll send you later. So again, they said, "Oh, you are a king. You are a king, whatever." But like he was like, "I'm not your king. Like I'm one of you. I'm not even meant to be king. Well, I'm not a king." But they say, "But look, we choose you as a king. Like you kind of project all the king-like qualities that people are looking for in a king. So you are a king. That's it." But he was like, "Okay, I guess then fine, right?" But he didn't. It was like the first guy who said the white lion is like, "I am your king. I am now the guy who oversees everything and until the horizon." And they were like, "Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. Like you're not it, And he was self-proclaimed king versus somebody who was just courageous and brave and smart and all the things that you want to see in a king, And they weren't his followers. They would literally die for him. you know.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the major challenge. But well, how do you do it?
True.
You need to walk the walk and talk the talk, man. You need
Yeah,
to.
but then, when I'm thinking, why do you want to be a leader? Like, you want to be a leader to help people achieve something, or to help people, no, or to have people that help you achieve stuff. That's why you want to be a leader. That's why you want to, like, have teams. That's why you want to have, like, big circles around you, because either you're helping them out and it brings you fulfillment, or they help you out get where you want to get, because you can do it alone. So then I can't imagine that being a good leader, you would just not care about them rising. So you would just, like, be a leader, and then what? Like, are you gonna be leading them for the rest of your life? Like, are you gonna be 100 years old and you still want to be this, like, strong leader that didn't, like, so I think you have to create those leaders, so then you can retire. I'm not, like, you can just go on with your life, and you can have people that help you, that pay your bills, or that, that do whatever. I don't know, like, whatever we're talking about, right? But you have to think in a broader kind of way, so you can see that the person who's now a follower, they have to be a leader, because otherwise all of your work is wasted, because at the end of the day, what do you have? Like, millions of followers, you die, and then what? Like, like, what?
Yeah, now leadership is another, like, huge topic
Yeah.
that I think we need to cover separately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with everything you say. You don't want to be a leader forever. Like, you want people
Yeah.
to take over from you and
Exactly, and you want to,
continue your legacy.
build this wealth of peace.
Yeah.
And that's where you have it, when you know that if you've had enough, you can't do it anymore, you don't want to do it anymore, there's somebody that you've trained and somebody that you've taught that can take over for you, and whatever and all you've built, it's not ruins, or it's not, like, hanging by a thread because you can't work anymore. Because you have people that you trust, and then those people will be more loyal to you, because they know that you've put your work into them, you're giving them something, and they are where they are because of you. So, and not just being, not just following you blindly, and then you have nothing else to offer, and then what? Those people are gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's, like, so true.
Yes.
I've got nothing to add.
Yeah, and I'd love to give some, like, practical tools and tips for leadership, but I guess I feel like the topic is so big and broad.
No, we
that,
should do another episode on it.
yeah,
I think.
like, the only thing that comes to my mind is, like, one important thing is, like, learn how to, like, delegate with trust. But that's, like, the next level. I feel like you need to really focus on just improving you first of all, like, building you up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so much to cover there. We need to talk about it in the future, about leadership. But having that said, being a leader, like, you lead yourself, you lead people. People can feel it. It's the energy. It's the way. It's kind of the way you present yourself. It's kind of your demeanor. Your aura, and it's like everything people can see. Your swagger and everything. But there's just a lot of elements to it, and it does take work. And we'll talk about it soon enough.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Yeah, I got tired, not gonna lie. Is it still recording?
Yeah. I thought it was.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
All right, so that's it,
yeah,
I guess.
that's it.
And see you in the future, kids.